Right, today we are going to start with another lesson on hashing under data structures and algorithm. And today we are going to be talking about universal hash family. In the previous lesson, we discussed universal hashing, where we mentioned that you need to select a hash function from the universe of different hash functions. So how do you create a universal hash family where you can select a hash function more like a pool of hash functions you can easily select? And one criteria or one thing we are trying to do is to have a hash function or a universal hash family that will not occupy so much space and also have good performance in terms of time. But one thing I can give you as a hint is you can actually go through this lesson very fast because it is not really the core of hashing this universal hash family. So if you don't really understand it at the first time, don't worry, you can actually skip this lesson and move on to the next one, which is perfect hashing. But just for your notes, you can make some notes and know that universal hash families can actually be selected. So we are going to look at two types of universal hash family. One is a dot product hash family and another hash family. And then we are going to lay the groundwork to prove the theorem of universal hash family. So that I'm going to lay it out and allow you to read it up. So the first one is the dot product hash family that goes this way. M is a table size, has to be a prime number. Give me a second. Let me take up my pen. Well, this time I'll also try to remind you to subscribe if you've not subscribed, and also let me know if there's something you would like to learn particularly or some challenging topic you have in computer science on your lessons. I'm going to teach you easily. All right. Now, give me a second again. Right. Okay, I have it connected. Yeah. Perfect. So the next thing is that assume that the universe is equal to m to the power of r for any integer r. Then we have the keys has to be viewed to be in base m. So have to be k0, k1 up to kr minus 1. And then for keys, for key A is equal to a0, a1 to ar minus 1. So what is A? We have A to be the index of each of the hash functions that can be selected. So, and select H, A0, H, A1, and things like that from this set of universal hash function. So have HA of K. So assuming you've selected a hash function HA, then you have HA of K. This will now be the slot it's hashes into is given by this function a dot k mod m, and that is given by this formula. So we are summing a dot k mod m. We are summing over I to r minus 1. So we are summing over the keys for 0, 1 to r minus 1 for all the ai and ak. So this is basically the basics of the dot product hash family, and we have this formula to be the base formula for dot product hash family. All right, so the next hash family is given by this formula HAB. This one we have two integers AB of k is equal to a dot k dot product of a and k plus b mod m mod p mod m. So in this case, you choose a uniformly random value a multiplied by the key k, and that should be binary multiplication, and add a second uniform random value, which is b, and then you have that also p is a prime number which is less than the table size of m. Remember that m is the table size and the choice of p should be less than the table size. M is the table size. And then the next thing is we want to write down the theorem that guides the universal hash family. And that theorem says the dot product H is universal for HAB of K is equal to A dot K plus B mod P mod M. So, well, as I mentioned before, this the lesson about choosing universal hash family, you can actually just write it in your note and just know that there is a dot product and also there is a second one, and this is how it works. So this dot product can actually be proven numerically, but in this case I'm going to define the proof at this point. So if you want, you can read up the proof. If not, you can actually leave it out like that. The main thing is this topic, perfect hashing, because perfect hashing actually tends to claim that the collisions can be avoided or prevented completely. That guarantees there will be zero collision in the hash table. So this is actually the key topic we are going to discuss, and I'm going to end this lesson now, and then we will start perfect hashing in the next class. I would like to thank you for viewing, and also remember to subscribe if you've not subscribed, and also leave a comment if there are some challenges you have or some topic you want me to clarify for you, or in hashing or data structure algorithms or programming and stuff like that.